Hello, and welcome to the seminar. Today we will be discussing world history. Specifically, the history recorded by the ancient Gutsa clans. It is important that you all go into this with an open mind. While the debate over the authenticity of some information in our research continues, what we are presenting you today is what we believe to be the most detailed account of historical events ever put together. Today we will cover mythological figures, Ion and Achaeans, ARW, and the history of the Gutsa clan. I ask that you hold all questions until after the seminar. Please welcome our speaker for this evening, Dr. Alexandra Morphus. If you would, Doctor.
Comprehensive story of the world and major events. The birth of Ion and Achaeans. In a time before human memory, the universe was a chaotic storm of elemental, temporal, ethereal, and natural forces, constantly clashing and creating turmoil. Amidst this chaos, a miraculous event occurred, the birth of two extraordinary beings, Ion and Achaeans. On the day they were born, the universe held its breath, and for the first time, the violence among monsters ceased for 13 days. As Ion and Achaeans grew from infants into young boys, they lived in a secluded cottage deep within a serene forest. Their mother, a kind and nurturing woman, cared for them, unaware of the immense powers her sons possessed. These early years were filled with peace and discovery, as the boys developed extraordinary abilities, completely oblivious to the larger destiny awaiting them. When they were 5 years old, tragedy struck. A monstrous entity attacked their home, and the boys could do nothing but watch in horror as their mother was brutally killed. This traumatic event shattered their idyllic childhood and awakened their latent powers. The paths of the two brothers began to diverge. Ion, fueled by a sense of justice and the desire to bring order, vowed to protect the world from such chaos. Achaeans, consumed by rage and sorrow, embraced the very chaos that had taken their mother. For the next 15 years, Ion and Achaeans trained tirelessly. Ion's abilities grew, and he began to understand his cosmic role to bring stability to the world. Meanwhile, Achaean's powers thrived on disorder, and he became a formidable force of chaos. At the age of 20, Ion set out on his crusade, gathering followers and allies who believed in his vision of peace and order. Achaeans, on the other hand, drew power from the chaos around him, leading his own followers down a path of destruction. The Great Conflict. The inevitable clash between the brothers came when they were 25. This battle marked the beginning of a prolonged war that would shape the future of the universe. For 10 years, Ion and Achaeans fought fiercely, each gathering armies and resources to support their cause. The world was thrown into further turmoil as the conflict intensified. In a desperate bid to end the chaos, Ion created mystical gates to separate the chaotic regions into distinct, stable realms. This monumental act brought a semblance of order to the universe. The chaotic elements, once intertwined, were now confined to their own realms. Human civilization began to emerge around 8000 BCE, building societies and histories unaware of the divine battles that had brought order to their existence. The rise of advanced robotic weaponry, ARW. Centuries passed, and human civilization continued to evolve. In the late 19th century, the Allied Armaments Corporation, AAC, was established, specializing in weapons manufacturing. AAC quickly gained prominence, supplying advanced weaponry to military forces worldwide. As the years rolled on, AAC expanded its operations, focusing on cutting-edge military technologies. Their significant role in World War I cemented their reputation as a leading defense contractor. In 1918, following the war, AAC rebranded itself as Advanced Robotic Weaponry, ARW. This new identity reflected their expansion into robotics and advanced military technologies. Throughout the 1920s and 1930s, ARW continued to innovate, becoming increasingly involved in global security. Their technological advancements allowed them to influence international affairs significantly. The story of John Morphus. In 1932, John Morphus was born to renowned archaeologists, Dr. William and Dr. Eleanor Morphus. His early years were filled with adventure and discovery, as his parents traveled the world uncovering ancient secrets. In 1937, they discovered a shrine dedicated to Achaeans, the infant demon. The significance of this find was immense, but the U.S. government quickly classified the site, restricting access and information. Tragedy struck John's life in 1944 when he was just 12 years old. While demonstrating his newfound abilities, he accidentally killed his parents and burned down their home. Consumed by guilt and grief, John fled, spending the next several years in isolation. During this time, he dedicated himself to mastering his abilities through intense concentration and study. In the late 1950s, John resurfaced, having gained control over his powers. He founded a small following, teaching others to harness elemental abilities through mental and physical discipline. His influence grew steadily, and by the 1970s, John led a revolution that united South America under his leadership, forming the nation of Gutsa. Initially, Gutsa maintained an iron curtain, isolating itself from the rest of the world. John emphasized spiritual values, autonomy, and self-determination, which resonated deeply with his followers. Under his leadership, Gutsa developed advanced technologies and fostered a strong sense of community and resilience. The rise of Gutsa and global conflict. By the early 2000s, Gutsa began spreading its ideologies in Asia, emphasizing the spiritual values, autonomy, and self-determination that had made it successful. These principles resonated with many, leading to widespread acceptance. Gutsa's emphasis on a spiritual connection with the natural world and individual empowerment offered a stark contrast to the technological dominance of ARW. As Gutsa's influence grew, tensions with ARW escalated. In the early 2010s, proxy wars erupted between the two powers. Gutsa's elemental abilities clashed with ARW's advanced technologies, creating brutal and devastating conflicts. Despite the turmoil, Gutsa managed to annex large swaths of Asia, significantly challenging ARW's global dominance and reshaping the geopolitical landscape. In 2016, these tensions reached a boiling point, leading to the outbreak of World War II. The conflict engulfed the world, with advanced technologies and elemental powers wreaking havoc on a massive scale. The devastation was immense, with both sides suffering heavy losses. The deal with Achaeans and Armageddon. In 2020, at the age of 88, John Morphus made a desperate and corrupt deal with Achaeans. Seeking immortality, John agreed to the exchange without knowing the full extent of what Achaeans would take. Achaeans used the power gained from the suffering of Gutsa's cursed people to open the gates once again. John was transformed into a shadow, unable to interact with the physical world, while the people of Gutsa were cursed to be deaf, blind, or sometimes both. This catastrophic event unleashed chaos upon the mortal realm. Ion and Achaeans engaged in a year-long battle, devastating the world. The Guardians, ancient protectors of the realm, fought valiantly to protect small pockets of society, including John's 4 sons, Drake, Yin, Theos, and Atami. ARW survived by retreating to bunkers, but the organization became fragmented due to the prolonged isolation. In 2021, Ion emerged victorious, and the Guardians closed the gates, locking away all the Guardians, Ion, monsters, demons, and Achaeans. The 3 oldest brothers of John Morphus, Drake, Yin, and Theos, formed the Gutsa clan to lead the survivors. Yin established a religion worshipping Ion and the Guardians, instilling hope and purpose in the people. By 2023, the unity among John's sons began to fracture. Drake, frustrated with the need for consensus, left to form the Dragon Clan, dedicated to worshipping Achaeans. He began militarizing his followers, preparing for potential conflicts. Yin, seeking a life of contemplation and peace, formed the Zetsu clan, living like monks, but maintaining contact with the Gutsa clan. In 2025, Drake made another deal with Achaeans to lift the curse from selected individuals in exchange for their souls. He used the spell on himself, unlocking hidden powers. Drake invited his brothers to receive the cure. Theos accepted, but Yin refused, finding an alternative method through contact with Ion. The Dragon Clan rapidly trained priests to perform the cure ritual and continued to militarize. The Gutsa clan selected a small elite force to cure their people, while Yin's Zetsu clan focused on spiritual and peaceful means of healing. By 2026, the Dragon Clan expanded quickly, raising concerns among the other clans. The Gutsa and Zetsu clans formed an unofficial alliance, fearing the Dragon Clan's intentions. Meanwhile, ARW bunkers began to open for the first time since Armageddon. Although the clans remained undetected, they closely monitored ARW activities. In 2027, ARW discovered and attacked the Dragon Clan, provoking Drake to counterattack. Both sides stood down afterward, creating a temporary ceasefire. Despite their small size, the clans began to develop primitive economies throughout the 2030s. The loss of pre-war knowledge took its toll, but they persevered. ARW remained passive, clearly not in a state to declare war. Aftermath and rebuilding. Post-2021, the survivors faced the monumental task of rebuilding society. The Gutsa, Zetsu, and Dragon clans each took different approaches. The Gutsa clan, led by Theos, focused on harnessing elemental abilities to rebuild infrastructure and maintain order. The Zetsu clan, under Yin's guidance, prioritized spiritual healing and community building. The Dragon clan, with Drake at the helm, continued to expand its influence and military capabilities. The fragmented ARW, emerging cautiously from their bunkers, attempted to re-establish communication and regain their former influence. Their technological expertise remained a valuable asset, even as they struggled to adapt to the new world order. The clans kept a close watch on ARW, wary of their potential impact on the fragile peace. The loss of pre-war knowledge posed significant challenges. Ancient technologies and wisdom were scarce, and the survivors had to innovate with limited resources. Despite these challenges, the people of the New World were determined to create a stable and prosperous society. They drew strength from their shared experiences and the leadership of their clans, forging a path forward in a world forever changed by the events of the past. Through resilience, cooperation, and the lessons learned from their tumultuous history, the survivors of the Gutsa, Zetsu, and Dragon clans worked tirelessly to build a new civilization. Their story serves as a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity, capable of overcoming even the greatest of challenges to create a better future.
Thank you, Doctor. A round of applause for Dr. Morphus. While extensive, we assure you that this is only the beginning of world-shaping truths withheld from the public for far too long. Our team is but one of many secretly leaking information from their databases. While we are not able to disclose the location of our next seminar.
This is a restricted communication line for redacted. Use of restricted communication lines is a crime. Authorities have been alerted of your location. Please stay put. Evading law enforcement is a crime. This communication line will now self-destruct in accordance with redacted. For the glory of redacted. Thank you, and have a nice life.